Carlita's first thought was she needed to up the monthly rent for her apartments. They were apparently a very hot commodity. Her second thought was Elvira had set her up. The whole scene reminded her of how Elvira had cornered her in the exact same spot and convinced her to let her rent an apartment. Vowing not to let Elvira catch her off guard again, Carlita shook her head. "I do have an apartment for rent, and am currently taking applications, but I'm not making a decision until I have a chance to look at them all," she said firmly. Charles smiled. "I completely understand. Can I help you carry your bags inside?" He motioned to the heavy bags he was now holding. "That would be nice." Carlita relaxed slightly. The man didn't appear to be at all like Elvira. He was a lot calmer and kinder. Carlita unlocked the back door, and Charles followed her inside. "As I said, Elvira mentioned you had an empty unit. The location is perfect since I perform down at the Thirsty Crow most nights." He closed the door behind them. "Do you like jazz music?" "I don't know," Carlita admitted. "Jazz is big in New York. I'm a New Yorker, Queens to be exact, but my husband wasn't much into music." "Ah, you're a long way from the big city down here," Charles said as they tromped up the steps. "What brought you to Savannah?" Carlita paused when she reached the top. "That's a loaded question." She smiled. Charles' voice was smooth, soothing almost, whereas Ben Cutler had immediately raised red flags and given Carlita an uneasy feeling. Charles had the exact opposite effect. She gazed into his warm brown eyes. The corners crinkled, as if he smiled a lot. Charles smiled. "I don't mean to impose. I can leave the groceries here." "Would you like to see the apartment?" Carlita asked impulsively. "Again, I don't want to impose," Charles laughed, "although I guess it's a little late for that." Carlita slipped the key in the lock. "Let me drop these off inside and grab the apartment key." She hurried into her apartment with the bags of groceries, leaving Charles in the hall. Carlita returned moments later, key in hand. "Like I said, I've had a great deal of interest in this unit, but if you would like to fill out a rental application, I'll be happy to take a look at it." "I just so happen to have it here." He reached into his front pocket, pulled out a crumpled piece of paper, and handed it to Carlita. "Sorry about the wrinkled condition. I filled it out last night after my gig ended." "No problem. I'm sure it's fine, as long as you filled it out completely." "Yes, ma'am, I did." Carlita unlocked the rear unit door, pushed it open, and stepped aside. "Would you be living here alone?" "Yes. My daughter lives in Atlanta with my granddaughter. They come and visit every couple of months, but other than that, it's just me." Charles stepped to the center of the living room and slowly spun around. "This is a real nice apartment, Miss Garlucci." "Garlucci," Carlita corrected. "For some reason, Elvira has changed my name to Garlucci." Charles chuckled. "I'm sorry. Mrs. Garlucci." "You can call me Carlita." "And you can call me Cool Bones." She showed him the rest of the apartment as they chatted about his job. Carlita quickly decided she was going to drop by the Thirsty Crow to listen to him sing. They finished the tour and stepped into the hall. She flipped the lock and pulled the door shut. "My lease is up on my apartment at the end of the month, but I would be willing to pay now and move sooner if you decide to rent to me," Cool Bones told her. "I listed my landlord as a reference. I've lived there for several years, but I'm getting older now, and these old bones don't like the long walk from the club back home." The more Charles, Cool Bones, talked, the more Carlita liked him. She almost threw caution to the wind and told him she'd rent the apartment to him. But something held her back, and that someone, was Elvira. Carlita led him to the bottom of the stairs, and they stepped out into the alley. "I plan to go over all of the applications this afternoon, and we'll have an answer in the morning." "I look forward to hearing from you." Cool Bones held out his hand, and Carlita placed hers in his warm grasp. "It was a pleasure meeting you, Mrs. Garlucci." Cool Bones released her hand, tipped his hat, turned on his heel, and strolled toward the sidewalk, whistling a catchy tune.